Hey friends, it's Sarah from She's Crafting and She Knows, and today we're going to make some really cute thumbprint pumpkins. And so I'm using real pumpkins today, but of course you can use artificial pumpkins. I have some craft paint. I'm just using a white, a black, and a color called Orange Spice, but you can use any orange. And then I have some paint markers, these right here. They're part of this really big set that's actually under $30. And of course, I will link all the supplies I'm using in the description below this video. So if you're looking for links to supplies, check out the description below. I've gone ahead and poured some white paint into this little tray. Of course, you can just use a paper plate if you'd rather. But what we're gonna do is dip our thumb right into the little thing of paint. Now you don't wanna do too much paint because it will run. So if you're doing this at home, ideally you'd have the pumpkin sitting upright. I'm just doing it laying down so that you can see the design better. But if anything, you want the paint to run down and not to the side. So I'm gonna try and do a little bit of paint, not too much. You don't need gloves because then for sure it will run. So you just dip your finger in it and then do a nice kind of thumbprint. If you need to tap a few times, you can. But like I said, you don't want to do so much that it's running down the sides of the pumpkin or down the bottom. So I'm kind of just scraping it off. I'm putting some on there and then kind of scraping it. And I'd rather have to tap it a few times to make the shape than to have paint running everywhere. So you can do these, you can do them bigger if you want to, you can do them smaller and as sporadic as you want, and just go all the way around the pumpkin. And I'm not doing mine perfectly evenly spaced or anything like that. I'm just kind of doing random little thumbprints. And this is a super fun craft to do with your kids or grandkids if you have kids around. Something different than just the traditional pumpkin carving. My girls love painting pumpkins and doing different things like this rather than just carving them. Okay, and so just so you can see, some of my spots are a little bit more globby, and so it did kind of run. So you could leave it running if you wanted to, or you can just go ahead and wipe it off. I'm going to wipe it off. I kind of have a wet paper towel right here. It wipes off super easy while it's still wet. So just kind of wipe it off. Okay, and so once you're done cleaning up all the drips from the paint using your wet paper towels, of course, go ahead and wash your hands because I'm going to go ahead and move on to another pumpkin using a different paint color. And then once this pumpkin is dry, we can come back and add the little faces of the ghost. But for now, I'm going to move it to the side and get a new pumpkin. And for my next pumpkin, I'm going to be using a white pumpkin and I'm going to be using orange paint. So I'm going to go ahead and pour some of my orange. Okay, and just so you can see, I'm going to turn it like this for a second. And now for this one, I'm going to try and do less, the ghost was more of like a full thumbprint to kind of make that oval. For this, I'm going to try and do a little bit more round. This is, we're going to do pumpkins. So I'm going to kind of scrape some off so that it's not too wet and just do more of a round circle. Might have to dab it a few times. Now, if you're using real pumpkins like I am, you might want to clean off the pumpkins ahead of time. I bought a lot of white pumpkins and all of them were very dirty and I had to really wash them off. So if yours have a lot of dirt and stuff on them, definitely go ahead and wash them off. Okay, we're just going to continue doing kind of more of a pumpkin shape all the way around the pumpkin until we're done. Of course, they don't have to be uniform at all. It's kind of fun if each one looks a little bit different. This orange paint is very thin seeming, so I don't know. It might run more than the white one did. Okay, go ahead and fix the drips using a wet paper towel, just like last time, and then I'm going to go ahead and move on to another one using the black paint color. And then once all the paint dries, we'll be going back and using the paint markers to put the little faces on everything. But for now, let's move on to a new pumpkin. I'll be using this really cool kind of green, it's almost a sage green pumpkin, and I'm going to be using black paint. I'm going to try and shake this paint up really good. I would prefer to not have drippy paint again. Okay, for this one, I'm going to be doing spiders. And so similar to the pumpkin, I'm going to do kind of more of a horizontal wide dot. So go ahead and stick your finger in. I just scrape it off so that I don't get too much. And I'm going to do kind of a horizontal, just like that. Does not need to be perfect. It's super cute, even if it's not perfect. So does not need to be like perfect shapes by any means. Okay, just go all the way around the pumpkin, same thing. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I might make some of these smaller ones a tiny bit bigger. But I'm going to scoot this one over very carefully without touching any of the spiders. I'm going to move it to the side and let it dry. Okay, so now that the paint is done drying, I'm going to go ahead and put faces on all of the little painted thumbprints, and I'm going to start with the ghosts. These are dual brush paint markers, so there's like a bigger kind of brush tip, and this one is more like a bullet tip. I'm going to be using the brush tip for this, the longer one. Okay, and so I'm going to kind of lean it so you can see. I'm just going to do, you can't go wrong with this, I'm going to do kind of an oval eyes. And then a kind of longer mouth. Just like that. We're going to go all the way around the pumpkin doing faces on the ghost, and then we're going to move on to the next little pumpkin with thumbprints. So there we go. We got all the little ghost faces painted, and we are going to move on to the next one. So I'm going to move this one to the side. Now we have our little pumpkin with the pumpkin design on it. I'm going to use the same markers, same tip, and everything. Okay, so this paint, since it was kind of thin, it dried a little splotchier than I would have hoped for. So hopefully yours look better than this. But I'm going to do little kind of V's, like upside down V's, so more like mountain peaks for the eyes. And then some of them I'm going to do a smile like this. And then some of them I'm going to do same little eyes, but maybe do like a zigzag like that. So of course you can play around with it, do whatever kind of faces you want. And we're going to go all the way around doing this. Okay, so now that I have the faces done all the way around, I'm going to use the little green paint pen to do kind of a stem on it. So I'm just going to do kind of going up to the side. Of course, you can switch which direction it goes. All the way around. Okay, so now that that one's done, we're going to move it to the side. And this was our spider one. So what we're gonna do for the spiders is go back to the black paint pen, and we are just gonna add legs. So 4 on each side. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're gonna go all the way around and do that on all the dots to make each one a spider. Okay, so once we have all the little legs done, I'm gonna move on to the white little brush and give them eyes. And I'm just gonna put two little white eyes at the top of each one. So go all the way around the pumpkin doing the eyes. Of course, we know spiders have more than 2 eyes, but we're not gonna worry about that. Okay, friends, so that's it. I hope this video inspires you to make your own thumbprint pumpkins. And like I said, I will link all the supplies I use, including those paint markers, in the description below this video. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up and make sure you subscribe for more videos. Bye!
She's crafty and she knows it. She's crafty and she knows it. She's crafty and she knows. She's crafty and she knows.